The session today is Welcome to VLA, and this was very interesting how we got started on this. Karim did a membership survey, and he wanted to know more about what you all wanted from VLA, and he's going to talk about that later in our presentation. I just want to show of hands. How many people are new to VLA? Wonderful. How many is their first conference? Great, great. This is exactly who we wanted to address today. Basically, all we want to do is give you a broad overview. We can't really go into all the details. VLA is kind of a complicated organization, but just a broad overview of what VLA has to offer and what we could really use from you as new members and hopefully volunteers within the organization. As I said, my name is Jessica Schwab. This is Karim Khan. He works at Loudoun County Libraries, Public Libraries, and Carolyn Labbé, excuse me, who works at Fairfax County Library. So we're all sort of grouped together in that Northern Virginia area because all of us are from Region 5.
Labbé.
Labbé.
No, just kidding.
Oh, and Lynda Baer is going to come up and speak briefly on the paraprofessional forum. So she's also part of Region 5. And I think that's about it. We can get started. Oh yes, she's in Central Rappahannock Library System. Okay?
Okay.
We all set?
All right. Hi, I'm Karim Khan. I'm the branch manager of Russ Library in Leesburg, Virginia, which is currently under construction and very tiny. It's about the size of this room right now, which is fun. So, like Jesse said, what we're going to do today is we're just going to go over, we're going to hopefully highlight some interesting things about VLA. Part of the genesis of this presentation was that over the years, VLA membership tends to be radically up and down, and the Executive Council, the President, Donna Cody, was like, what can we do to make sure our membership stays stable and we're growing and improving the library, trying to meet our mission and stuff like that. So they created a membership committee, and one of the things the membership committee has done, Jesse and some of the other people on the membership committee, is figure out, well, I don't know, maybe we should have a welcome to VLA, because one of the things about VLA is, to misquote JFK, it's not so much what VLA can do for you as what you can do for VLA and libraries in Virginia in general. So this is our overview. We're going to talk just for a minute about the missions and goals of the Virginia Library Association and who is the Virginia Library Association. Then we're going to talk about what VLA does. Most of this is about some of the different VLA units, and the reason we say units is because the different units have 5 or 6 different names, and the structure is essentially impenetrable, so we won't try and say, you know, this kind of unit is under this kind of unit. It's impenetrable. There's just units. There's committees. There's regions. You'll see all about it. We'll talk a little bit about how to get active in those units, what you can do, some of the ways you can participate, and by then we'll be done and there's time for questions. So, the Virginia State Library, this is a quote from the VLA's website, is the statewide organization whose purpose is to develop, promote, and improve library and information services. It also has a function of promoting the profession of librarianship, but that should by no means be taken to mean that it's exclusively an organization for professional librarians. It's also very much an organization for paraprofessionals. The paraprofessionals who are members of the Virginia Library Association are some of the most active people in the organization. And because it's the Virginia Library Association, you know, we deal with the state as a state a lot. There's legislative issues, there's budgetary issues, and there's sort of, we consider ourselves, we hope that we're one of the amenities of living in Virginia. So, we do serve all types of libraries. It's not just public libraries, it's not just academic libraries. And one of the things we want to do is try and make sure we're engaged in all different types of libraries. The school librarians, for instance, have another association, the Virginia Educational Media Association. Law librarians have an association. So we try and work on an association to association basis. So even if we don't have a lot of law librarians or school librarians as members of VLA, we hopefully are interacting with them as groups. We are not partisan, you know, sometimes we're not really like a union or something like that makes political endorsements, but we do generally endorse full funding for the library budget and are engaged on all sorts of information issues like that. There's an annual membership dues because, you know, something's going to have membership dues. They do start as low as $15 annually for students and retirees. That's not too bad. It's definitely based on salary. One of the things to remember about the Virginia Library Association is that there's only 2 paid employees. One's the executive director who does all the finances, very responsible for this, for the way these conferences happen. That's Lynda Hahn. She's the person you generally email when you have questions that have to do with checks or anything like that. And the other is the lobbyist who lobbies the Virginia legislature for us. Everything else is member run. So the Virginia Library Association is as active as its members are. And like I said, that goes up, that goes down, but hopefully you can make it even more active. Right now, the basics, we do have different members from all around the library community. Libraries, whole libraries or members of the institution, librarians, paraprofessionals, trustees and friends, and you could just, retirees, which isn't on there, and you could just be interested in libraries and join it. And there are definitely some people like that. There's about 1,000 at any given time members, but like I said, it does tend to go up and down. On years when the conference is too expensive for people to go to at the homestead, it goes down. On years when it's more affordable, it tends to come up. It's about 2/3 public library, 1/3 academic library, and a little bit on the rest. It's one of the great questions of our live is, how many people are special librarians in Virginia? Nobody knows that. We'd like to know. And this is a little map, very Web 2.0, a Google Maps mashup of all the zip codes where people who answered our membership survey are. You can see there's a big cluster down here in Tidewater and the peninsulas, some clusters up there. But they're all around the state, you know, and even one member who's in West Virginia, oddly enough. So, you know, we are all around the state, and it is a little clustered in the more urban areas of Virginia, but that's probably because of the way zip codes work, if anything, more than anything else. Some of the challenges as far as VLA membership goes, it is an organization that needs new members to be active. It needs new members because, you know, 82.8 of VLA members have worked in libraries for more than 6 years. And somewhat distressingly, about 70% of the members have celebrated their 46th birthday. And you know, you kind of would wish that number would be a little lower and it would be more equally distributed. It's a little heavy on people who don't describe themselves as frontline staff, although I suspect that many members of VLA work more directly with the public than that number would indicate. There's not that many school librarians right now, and we'd like to do more about that. And we certainly do know that right now with the economy and everything like that, dues are a factor. They actually did just raise dues this past year. They kind of had to do it because our lobbyist doesn't, he ain't cheap. But hopefully, you know, we can get enough services and enough interest to maintain membership even though we did that. So on my last slide for this part, this is kind of what VLA actually does. We try to provide diverse continuing education and training throughout the year. This conference, the paraprofessional conference that happens in the summer, spring, it was warm the time I went, so I thought summer. And many other smaller programs that are ad hoc throughout the year. We try to, it's an opportunity to get professional visibility and career enhancement. One of the things that it lets you do is network around with other people in your region, outside of your region, on various library issues. As an institution, VLA is involved in the state and local political making process. I mean, we really do lobby. And we also publish a couple very important publications, the VLA newsletter, the Virginia Libraries, which is sort of our research publication, and also the VLA website, which ought to be thought of as a publication because there's a lot of good content up there and it's growing all the time. And if you use the VLA website, you probably think, maybe they should redo this. It's been like it is for about 3 years, so it's a big redesign is coming up and there's a whole team working on that. So, with that done, Jesse's going to talk a little about how the work gets done.